Welcome to the Ambitious as Fuck podcast, where we have raw conversation about staying motivated and ambitious while facing real life challenges. Success doesn't just happen, you have to work hard, fall, and keep getting up regardless of the obstacles. If settling or giving up is not your style, stick around for this real ass conversation. My name is Priscilla, and I've always enjoyed helping and motivating others. While developing my own brand, I realized my passion for marketing and empowering others to keep pushing forward and manifesting their dreams. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to another episode of the Ambitious AF podcast. Today I have a friend, a client, an amazing woman that I love so much, Michelle Crawford. Can you please introduce yourself and what you do?
Well, thank you for that very lovely introduction, Priscilla. I appreciate it. Hi, I'm Michelle Crawford, and I'm a certified cannabis health coach and educator, and I'm the founder of Cannabis Coaching, where I help people get better health with cannabis. And how do I do this? I offer coaching, but my signature course is now Homemade Health. Homemade Health teaches you how to confidently DIY at home to make your own cannabis remedies. And I'm building a community there of people who are excited to DIY and share all their knowledge with other people and, get themselves and their loved ones healthy with cannabis.
Awesome. And so I want to go back to how I met Michelle, because I meet a lot of people on social media and just from whenever I reach out. But in this case, Michelle was actually referred to me by someone when I was in a BNI. So some of you who know or maybe don't know what BNI is, it's basically like a referral network, and you go every single week to a meeting, and it's very structured, and there's a period where everyone gets to say what it is they do to remind each other constantly of how we can help each other. But there's this super cool lady named Christy, and oh my God, she referred me to Michelle. And I remember the first time I talked to Michelle, Michelle needed a sales page. And I was like, well, okay, tell me what a cannabis coach does. I've never heard of this before. So it was really cool, because then obviously we got to dive in together, and I got to learn about her, and she's just super cool, and she's one of my favorite people. And so Michelle,
right back at you, Priscilla, right back at you.
The cool part is I got to write Michelle's story, but it's evolved. But initially, what I remember was, of course, that you got into cannabis because of a particular reason. And I really want to talk about that, because in my previous episode that hasn't come out yet, Michelle, by the time people see this, the other one will be out. But she was basically kind of like a coach that helps people understand what it is that they explore new things, and it all has to do with kind of sexuality. And
yes,
we talked a lot about that last time. And so tell us a little bit about how you got into cannabis, obviously not the recreation when you were a teenager, because I think everyone's tried weed at least once when they were a teenager, right?
Right.
But for you as an adult, walk us through that. What happened?
It's an interesting story, right? I'm not surprised you want me to tell it, right? Everybody likes this story. I think it makes people feel better about themselves, but I'm happy to tell it. Honestly, I really am, because it's very significant and important, and I've done nothing but it's brought nothing but good. So here it is. About 6 or 7 years ago, the time keeps passing, I read an article on Vice. I was in my late 30s. I've been married for over 20 years. I have 3 children. I wear all the hats. I'm a happy camper. But, I love to have great sex. I don't think I'm alone. Raise your hand, right? And I read this, I know, right? And I read this article.
I raised my hand for those of you who can't see me.
I know a lot of you also raise your hands who are listening. Because it's very central to a healthy lifestyle, honestly. I read an article on Vice. It was called "How I Got My Pussy Stoned with Weed Lube." Okay. I mean, clickbait. I was like, okay, I'm interested. I read this article from this lady who bought this product in California called Foria. It was a THC infused oil that was meant to be sold as a lubricant for sex. And she said it worked great, but then she did a really dumb thing and drank the whole bottle, like 400 milligrams of THC, and was like kind of out of it for 3 days, just, sleeping a lot, in and out and stuff.
Shit.
Nothing horrible, nothing, fatal or toxic, but just, 400 milligrams of THC. That's not good.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So don't do that. Okay. Number one, advice from Cannabis Health Coach to you. Don't drink the bottle. See, I helped you, right? Spray it on your pussy. Wait 20 minutes. Have amazing sex. But don't just go glug, glug, glug unless you want to spend 3 days out of it. Anyway. So that experience, I mean, it's a little out of the typical. It's a little bit like, not the same thing as I smoked a joint with my friends in the woods or something. Mm-hmm. My husband and I had like amazing sex. I had great orgasms. I really liked it. And so we kept buying it. And I was like, God, this stuff is expensive. It really was. It was like $80 for like a couple ounces.
Oh, shit. That is expensive.
It really is. And imagine like justifying to yourself as a young mom with like, my husband was, working and I was working, like $80 for your, like it's, you can
it's justify like going on a date. It's cheaper than a date.
It's cheaper than a date, but it was kind of adding up. And I look at the ingredients and it's like MCT oil and cannabis extract. And I'm like, that's not complicated. That's 2 things, right? Uh-huh. Like, I think I can do this because here in California, you can buy cannabis extract. Uh-huh. So my DIYing journey kind of started with that. Like, I don't want to pay $80 for this bottle. I kind of want to just try making this thing with 2 simple ingredients. And I did successfully. And then from there, we lead to today where I teach people all this and more.
Okay. So that, and of course, I know this story, but she has to tell you guys the story. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. I was like, dude, like, really? And she was like, oh yeah. And then at the time you were going to do a talk on better sex with cannabis. I think you've done it at least once already.
Yes, I have already given my Better Sex with Cannabis talk at Cannabis Coaching Institute, where I graduated and work as a grad student mentor. And it was so popular. I mean, people really need to hear this message. And I got picked up by people who were doing a summit, and they were going to have me on with a lot of other sex educators and things like that to give a talk on better sex with cannabis. And the whole summit got canceled, unfortunately, but I was ready. I was ready for that talk.
Yeah, I know I was ready too.
You're like, I wanted it. Yeah, it's a good one.
And so, so that I think is really cool because just kind of piggybacking on the previous episode where women, we have a harder time. We have this guilt. We're not taught what pleases us. We're not taught to speak up about what pleases us, and shit, most of the time we don't even know, right? Mm-hmm. And I shared, I didn't learn stuff about myself till I got older. And so it's like, okay, if this is like a little push that could just introduce the being more open and adventurous in your sex life, hey, let's try some weed lube, right? Like, that's like a really nice opener for that.
I think it's a great opener. As a cannabis health coach, I have a particular kind of hate for hearing about people's first experiences with cannabis, if it was negative and it could have been improved. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if you were working with me, I could make sure your first experience with cannabis was going to be as wonderful as possible. You know what I mean? And weed lube is a great way to have an extremely great experience with cannabis. I mean, I know in a podcast of yours that I listened to earlier that you talk about finding your own intuition and stuff, and how important it is to listen to that. And I 100% am in agreement with you. And one of the ways that my intuition works that I've come to accept is that it shows me what I care about, because things that I care about irritate me. I get irritated by women not having sexual pleasure, by orgasms being not had all the time. It is a key to health. Do you believe in the chakra system? Where you have like all your chakras lining up. The root chakra is red down at the perineum, the seat of your body. Your vital health is located in the sexual part of you. You have to be vitally healthy. Your sex life has to be vitally healthy. And women ignoring this for conditioning reasons, like you mentioned, religion. I mean, I grew up in religion. There's a lot of putting down of your sexuality. There's an expression of your desires or finding out what you like at all.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have been in a relationship of so long to have such a safe place to explore this kind of thing with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But everybody here who has a body has been in a relationship with their body for as long as they've been around. So you can always have a relationship with yourself and give yourself pleasure and find out what turns you on, because if you learn from these sex experts, you have to know what turns you on in order to get someone else to turn you on.
Exactly.
It's not like they know how to do it. And with women, these romantic ideals are really bad.
Yeah.
When you think another person, man or woman or partner, is going to give you an orgasm, as opposed to you will give yourself an orgasm, you'll get one. Everybody kind of has to get their own cookies, as they say, right?
Right.
And you have to know, so it irritates me to think that people are missing out on this kind of pleasure and the enhancement of their vitality in this day and age. Who doesn't need vital health?
Yeah.
Through this God-given mechanism. I mean, the pussy is alive with nerve endings for the sole purpose of pleasure. So let's give it to it. Let's give it to it, ladies. Give us the pleasure.
That reminds me of I think I saw a meme. It says the clitoris has like 7 or 8 nerve endings. I don't remember what.
Thousand. Yeah, like 4,000 nerve endings.
Holy shit. Okay, I read it wrong. But it said, if you're gonna get on a woman's nerves, get on those.
I love it. Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
That was awesome. I was like, fuck yeah, that's right.
Get on that nerve. Heck yes. My husband and I have been going through some sicknesses because we have a toddler in the house. He goes to preschool. And if any of you have ever lived through that, that's like having a germ monkey live with you. You know what I mean? Like the vector of germs, right? So I got an article in my email, because I subscribe to a lot of sex positive newsletters, about some research that talks about how having a healthy sex life and the abundant relaxation that comes after pleasurable sex with a partner that you trust helps you create more white blood cells, creates a chemical situation in your body that helps your immune system better, keeps colds away. So my husband and I have been like, babe, we need to get rid of these colds. Come on, let's.
While you're over there.
Hey, don't diss the science.
You can't breathe, but you're getting it on now. So
I can't breathe, but I hope I can breathe tomorrow if I keep this up.
That's so funny. Oh my God. I love it. Well, okay. So that is like one of the aspects that you're definitely big on with the, obviously like your sexual vitality. But then there's like this whole other DIY thing, right? And
whole other DIY thing.
Here's been the funnest thing about growing with Michelle, because I feel like, when she called me on board, we did the sales page and she was like just barely like starting off, like, I'm going to sell this. Like, I guess I do. Like, tell us about that part. I'm not even going to put words in your mouth.
Okay. Yeah. What is it like when you and I first met and what it's like now? It's been like basically a year, and you've been, because of your help to me in that beginning part, helping me with my sales page and my brand and my profile, it really set me up for a lot. So I'm always grateful to you for that. But the situation back then, let's I had just freshly graduated CCI. I was working as a grad mentor there. We have like a couple hundred students coming through all the time. I'm coaching them, in the program. And everybody knows that I am a DIYer. So I mentioned that I made my own weed lube, right? But it's not hard. What did I tell you? MCT oil, cannabis extract. I think I can do this. I think I can. And I did it. And that was like 6 years ago, right? Okay. So once I kind of got the hang of DIYing on my own, I started to want to share this with people. And who's the first people that you want to share it with? Like your most loved ones, your family, your friends. I was giving weed lube to all my friends.
Oh, you were?
I was that girl. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wish I was your friend back then.
You are my friend. I've been wanting to give you weed lube forever.
Give you some weed lube.
God damn it, these gas prices need to go down so we can get together.
I know. I'm like, so Michelle lives in San Jose and I am in Concord. So we're about an hour 15 or so, like an hour and 15 minutes. And so I'm like, girl, I ain't got no gas right now.
I know.
It's just like, it's a trek and whatever. But anyway, keep going.
Anyway, so I'm giving all my friends weed lube. I'm the weed friend now. I'm the stoner friend. I'm the pot friend, right? Mm-hmm. And, people are it's California. People are getting a little bit more accepting. People are kind of like, I've heard this is good for different things. And I would start to get little questions. And I'm a huge researcher. I can't put my hand on a weed book right now, which is so rare. It's so rare. I clean my little office space, so that's rare. But like, I read all the books. I learn all the things. My mom is like, she's a researcher. She's knowledgeable. So if you want to know about me, I'm knowledgeable and I'm confident and I want to share and teach people. And it irritates me when I think that your life could be improved by just something you need to know, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you. Anyway, I became a big DIYer, was sharing it with all my friends, like locally. Like my friends would be like, Michelle, my mom's hand hurts, but she's only allowed to use this one cream. Can we infuse that with like some pot and make it like work for her better? I'm like, yes. So I'd have people over. We would infuse like their little lotions with creams with THC concentrates, CBD concentrates, and stuff like that. And I got to be really, you can't really hardly dip your toe in this space without starting to realize there's more than one cannabinoid. There's more than just THC. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot. The plant has like over 150 that we haven't even discovered yet.
Wow.
And the weird thing, if you've ever heard of the entourage effect, is that cannabis works best like in full spectrum, with all of its parts there and with other cannabis with it. It works best like as a salad, if that makes any sense, as a rainbow. So I'm starting to what they call multi-cannabinoid formulate now, which means to say put different cannabinoids into my formulas. Mm-hmm. It sounds so complicated, but honestly, it's so simple. And I teach this in my class and people are like, oh my God, that's so simple. I had no idea. And I'm like, now you know.
Yeah. The way
so back in the day when you and I were getting together, it's so simple. It's super simple. Yeah. But I needed you to help me. They were asking me to teach them how to make my tinctures. I was trying to get my family to use cannabis. And even though I'm saying, oh, it was a little bit positive, people were a little bit interested, but a lot of people were not. There was stigma. There still is today. People are still in jail for this today. We all know all the bad things. So, knowledge is power.
Right.
So they're asking me to teach them how to make these multi-cannabinoid tincture canna kits that I had come up with to help my family. I realized along the way that like people need choices. You can't just be like THC fixes everything. No, you need like sometimes CBD, sometimes THC. Some people need more than that. There's special formulas for sleep. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. It really helps to have like a sort of plan of attack with your stuff. And I developed this whole canna kit that I was giving to all my family and friends, and people at CCI were asking me about it, asking me about how to use different cannabinoids, asking me about how to get their families to try it, asking me about how to make the canna kit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, my husband actually said to me, this is how I know coaching works, because we have a resonant relationship. And he just looks at me and he's like, are you going to make this class or what? So I made the class and you helped me sell it. Thank you. And ever since then, that was in the winter of 2022, right? Mm-hmm. Well, lots happened since then. And I wish I had planned this. 2020. Oh my God. So like, I wish I had planned it. But looking back, I'm proud to say that I made the class, and with your help, I sold the class to my first like 12 students. I gave the class, and nothing will teach you more about how to run your business than like selling to people and giving them stuff and finding out what they think and what they want and what they want and how it went for them. And then I did that again in the spring. And after doing it twice, people told me they want to learn more. They want to learn how to make concentrates because I know how to make concentrates. And I'm actually even a pro at it and a spokesperson for a concentrate machine company. Mm-hmm. So learning how to make concentrates with the Source Turbo by Extract Craft is something that people wanted to learn from me. Yeah. So I added that to the course. And then also topicals, which are things that you put on your skin with cannabis, mm-hmm. including suppositories. Mm-hmm. The number one thing people want to learn from me often because of this feminine divinity and sexual health vitality piece is suppositories and weed lube. So I developed a module on topicals for the skin, including suppositories and some of my other more like, different recipes, and put all of that together into a class. Mm-hmm. And I gave that for the first time this fall to another 15 students, and some of them returning students who have been with me since the first class.
That's so cool.
They have made so much progress, and I'm so proud. But it's been a long road, and I'm just so grateful that you helped me take action, really help people. And then I got to learn from that. And now I know more about what my business is, how I help people than I ever did before with just sitting in a room alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that, and that's the thing. And I know we've talked about this a lot of times where like you would tell me like, I know what I'm trying to say, but for some reason I can't say it right. And it's like, and I have the same problem with my own stuff. It's like, when we're directly in it, it's really hard to remove our head from it so we could see it from the other perspective. Because before this, you were actually in marketing. You were actually a copywriter of sorts, right?
Yes. I'm really glad you brought this up. Because like this was, I mean, listen, if you are listening to this, I am a professional copywriter also, not in the same niche that you're in at all, at all. But I could not for the life of me write this copy for myself. I could not do it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't write my sales page. I had no idea what to put in my bio. I just like had no clues.
But you're not alone. And I always remind people, like when you are starting your business or you're already in your business, you could be freaking in your business for 10, 20 years and still not know how to really say these things, right? Like you can get clients, you get people to like you because, hey, you're a likable person or you're special compared to someone else or whatever. But like to actually start selling to people that maybe don't know you, there's like this whole process of it. And it's like, we are just so much in our own head that it's so hard to get those words out. So that's what I feel like. You've always told your story super well. Like anyone asks you, boom, you know exactly what you're talking about. And so now it's nice to see like, you're like way more like clear, I feel like about what you're doing. Cause now I kind of feel like you became like the DIY lady.
I am. That's my leg of the stool. I'm the DIY lady. You know, a lot of people come to CCI. I'm just going to use CCI as an example, Cannabis Coaching Institute. They want a career in cannabis. You know, they're looking to become a coach or an educator. And of course, I went through the same program. Right. But it's funny how many people come there wanting to learn how to make cannabis medicines themselves. And that's not really the thrust of our program. But here I am, a grad mentor who's developed this program, fits the need perfectly. You know what I mean? Come to my community, join a group of inspired DIYers, learn how to build a repertoire of healing medicine making skills, and enjoy doing it with like-minded people.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, one of the cool things too is like everyone that's taken your class from, because I had to study the reviews and stuff from people.
That's right. That's right.
And I was like, wow, like everyone says the same thing, that you made it so easy, that it's like you like, because one of the things that I know I would freak out about, but obviously I know if I took your class that wouldn't happen, is like you're thinking of how much you have to measure and like how am I going to get the dosage right. And I remember that was one of the main points in the sales page that we put there, was like you don't have to worry about math. Like how the hell does that, how do you not have to worry about math, Michelle? Come on now.
How do you not have to? I know, right? That is a lot of people's like hugest, biggest concern. But I'll tell you, it came from my experience after DIYing for years now and making tinctures for other people for years now. And also buying things in our like amazing, robust marketplace that we have here in California and seeing the example of commercially made products. What dosages are they being offered? I mean, obviously there's legal things going on here too, but
right.
You know, you can only buy so many bottles of tincture where they're like the total cannabinoids in this bottle, 1 ounce is 300 and each milliliter dropper, of which there are 30, contains 10. I mean, I bought like 20 bottles of that over 5 years and figured it out, right? I know that sounds funny. And for the people who are like math impaired, they're like, what did she just say? But trust me on this. Just put your trust in the process. I kind of like had to get the confidence that anything that I do will not be any different from the industry. I'm not going to like change, like infusing herbs and oil and alcohols and different things is completely a age-old historical thing. I was in an interview and I was like, I was really bummed to find out that everything I'm into is like ancient. I thought I was cool and modern and new, and I'm not. Like, you know what I mean? Like shamanism, spirituality, feminine divinity and cannabis and like good health with cannabis, historically proven things. I'm not doing anything new, but it's new for us because we have lost our way with prohibition and all of, and also those other things like, you know, spiritually and all those things. We've kind of really lost a lot of touch with that. So bringing back the old, what?
So then one cool thing I always thought was super cool, because I'm like, so many people would love to do not only like the DIY stuff at home, but the other stuff that you're doing. It's like, you have all these partnership type of things where you're like a spokesperson. And I was like super impressed when I saw that. I was like, wait, you're with who? You got a discount for what? Like, that's so cool. Like, how did you do that?
Gosh, thank you so much. Like, I have had a little bit of a struggle to allow myself to feel that impressiveness about myself too, right? But the more I hear it from other people who I respect, the more I have to acknowledge that it's truthful. You know, I am proud of myself in that regard.
You should be.
How did I become a spokesperson? Well, I got expert. I like bought the machine, the Extract Craft machine, the Source Turbo. And actually, I do this work for CCI as well, and for myself and other people. But anyway, this was the biggest brand deal that I kind of got like right out of the gate, weirdly. I barely knew what I was doing, but at the same time, you know, like I said, nothing's really new here. So I got hired to be a spokesperson for this company called Extract Craft because I became very good and proficient at using their ethanol alcohol recovery machine that helps you make any kind of extract from any kind of plant. Of course, 80% of the people who buy this machine use it for cannabis and hemp. But you can make vanilla or black pepper or lavender essential oil or orange, which is what I made in a video on YouTube. So at this point, I had bought the machine. At first I had like the very first time I remember looking at this machine online, I had no idea what it did. Like, I was like, I do not understand this at all. And here it is. It makes concentrates. You would think I could figure it out, but I had to revisit it a few times and then I bought it, and it's not cheap. It's $600.
Okay.
Right? I bought the machine, I mastered it. I made a video of me using it to make orange extract, which is a really helpful thing to use in skin salves together with cannabis.
Oh.
And yeah, it really helps with pain, arthritis, that kind of thing. Any kind of citrus oil. So the leadership at Extract Craft reached out to me and like, we saw your video, we liked it. You want to come and, you know, maybe do a few more videos for me? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. They hired me. They brought me out to Colorado. I actually did a little bit of marketing consultation with them too. It was very handy that I was a marketing consultant for about 6 years ahead of this entrepreneurship part of my life, because I already kind of understand working with people on a project basis, and it wasn't so weird, right? Yeah. And I go to Colorado and I filmed like 5 or 6 videos with them that we planned out, and they're up on their YouTube right now, and I'm very proud of that work. And I was able to give my customers a discount on their machine because of this relationship. And it's not uncommon at all to be an affiliate for like brands that you love and trust. So I'm an affiliate for the Extract Craft machine, and I'm an affiliate for the Ardent FX, which is the other machine that I recommend that you use to make your DIY like simple. Simple. I know not everybody's like gonna tell you to buy expensive machines, but I will, because I'm that girl. I'm that bitch.
Well, no, I mean, it makes sense, because if you're trying to take the hard standing on the stove or burning your weed or whatever, all the shit that happens when you're DIYing any weed stuff, then why not go to something that you know every single time it's just going to work?
We are modern kitchen witches. This is modern life. We have technology. We do not need to be standing over some like burning, fuming thing. You know, like people ask me all the time, like, how do you clean up from all this DIY? And you do. I'm like, I put it in the dishwasher.
I love it.
I may be a kitchen witch, but I'm modern. Okay.
Yeah. You know, I didn't realize this. I had never asked you that. How did you get that deal with Extract Craft? So that's actually cool. I didn't know this.
Yeah, you got the exclusive story, Priscilla. And I'm proud of myself. Like, what did it take to do all that? Like, I had to figure out the machine. I had to want to try it. I had to buy it and use it and make a video on YouTube about it for all that to happen. And then also not be embarrassed to talk to those people and say yes. And they asked me for a price, you know, to do this spokesperson work and be in all their videos which was the first time I had done that. And I had to call around to people and be like, how do you charge for this? You know what I mean? And, a lot of things went into that took little moments of bravery and chutzpah here and there and being ambitious AF and stuff. But hey, today I'm super fucking proud.
I'm proud of you, Michelle. The fact that all the stuff that you do, like sometimes I'm just like, holy shit, this girl, like you're just, a little bit of everything and you just like make shit happen. And then like, sometimes just like, I think with anyone, we got to take a little breather for a moment and kind of like figure out what we're doing or what direction we want to go. Because all of this is new for you. So
I know, right? Like I never had a cannabis business before. I was never a coach. I was never making like, thousands of dollars in my own business. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And so what would you say is like, what's been the hardest part to kind of like just move forward? Because this is not an easy thing to say, like, I want to be a cannabis coach. Like you nerded out on it. This is in your bio. You nerded out on it, on the topic of cannabis and how it's helpful to our bodies and whatnot. But like, how in the world would you like, yeah, I want to be a cannabis coach. I want to get certified in cannabis. Like, how does that happen?
I will tell you, this is another story. You're so good at your job, I tell you. It's such a pleasure. Anybody listening, it's a pleasure to work with this lady. She just asked me the questions and the stories just fall out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's how it happened. There's a guy named Bill Meeks who was featured on a PBS, like public radio, whatever, PBS News Hour on TV. He's like older, a senior in Arizona, a Mormon, and a former sheriff's deputy.
Oh.
Guess what he did in his senior years of life? He became a cannabis health coach. He got certified, and now he's teaching seniors in Arizona how to use cannabis to help them get off pain pills and live better lives. I watched this on PBS, and I was like, oh my God, I saw myself in it totally. I had no idea that was a job, but I was doing that with my family for like 2 years at that point, or 3 years. I've been doing that for my family for years at that point. Okay. You know what I mean? Like trying to get my mom, trying to get my dad, my aunties, my cousins to try cannabis. Like if you were my family member and you were like, oh God, I'm having such a hard time sleeping. I'd be like, well, you could try this THC tincture with like some CBN and CBD. And I'll bet if you took it an hour before you went to sleep tonight, it might really help. And they'd be like, oh, I don't know, that weed, that's for cancer patients.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. But eventually they said yes to me. So I'd been doing that for years. I saw this PBS and I was like, that's me. I had no idea that was a job. Where did this guy get certified? What the holy hell?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I look at my husband and I tell him about it. And he's like, and I tell him, I did some research. Of course, you know me, I'm going to nerd out. I found like 3 or 4 different schools that certified people on this.
Okay.
And like 2 years ago. Now I would say, go to CCI. And my husband and I talked about it for a minute and he just looked at me, and this is how I know coaching is real, because we have such a resonant relationship. He just said, yeah, why don't you get that certification? And you know what, Priscilla, I know you know this too, because you have strong relationships. He said that to me and it was like I'd already done it. I had it. I had the certification. It was mine.
Wow.
It was real. That's what coaching resonant relationships can do for you. Now, not everybody's going to have a 20-year marriage history, depth, share of life that me and my husband have, or, you and your significant others might have. But even if you can have a 10th of that in a relationship with a coach, that's so significant. It helps so many people.
Yeah.
Like make their dreams come true, see in themselves the ability to do what they want, to become who they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's really nice. And I knew this story, but obviously like I want people to hear this because it's so obscure, right? Like a cannabis health coach. Like right. I think, and anyone that I talk to about cannabis, because like, especially here in California, we're much more open about it. I know we've obviously think the proposition passed on our end here in California. So
yeah, we're what everybody else in the country is like. They're like, oh, cry me a river, Californians. You know what I mean? Like we've had the longest medical legalization. We've had the biggest market. And let's be real, I'm super proud of this. I'm super proud as a Californian. And I know you've heard me do this before, but we have the best cannabis. We have the best genetics. We have the best growing practices. I've been to other states. I've tried their cannabis. It's okay, but always come back to Northern California. And if you're looking for the best cannabis in the world, come to Northern California, because literally this is where it's at.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And so, but I think the first thing that anyone says is, what's that?
What is it? Yeah.
Coach do? So obviously you've covered, a lot of that. Like, you're helping people with their health through it. And I'm going to tell you this, I had actually never tried CBD like topical. My friend who comes over every so often, she brought some with her. And the other day, I don't know, I was in pain somewhere. I can't remember where, because I usually have pain somewhere.
Yeah. I know, right? Even when we're healthy, we have little problems that we would do better without.
I think it's my knee. I think it was my knee kept clicking. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like, and when your knee just rubs itself, it just feels so ill. And so I was like telling her, I was like, oh, my knee hurts. And I'm like, just trying to rub around or whatever. She's like, oh, I have my CBD topical. I was like, oh, you do? And I was like, oh, I've never tried it. I smoke, that's, I think I had edibles, like, it's been years, but yeah, I've had edibles. Nowadays, I'm like, I don't even know how many to take because they don't work for me.
I'm like, tolerance, a whole other talk.
Yeah, that could be another episode. But I put the topical on and I rubbed it in, and like within a few minutes, I realized that it wasn't clicking and it wasn't hurting. And I was like, holy shit, that works. Because I don't like taking ibuprofen or Tylenol. I hate taking medicine if I don't have to. Even after my C-section, I was like, don't give me like the strongest stuff. Like, just give me like maybe a couple for like if I'm dying or something. But like, I went on what the lightest thing that I could take, which is Tylenol and ibuprofen put together after my C-section. But it's like, yeah, I don't like that. And so to know that I put this stuff in and it just like went away, I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
They are topicals, cannabis infused topicals. I will tell you from my own experience, are the real gateway. I mean, lubricant is considered a topical. So that's the gateway for me. And then honestly, it's how I got everybody in. People have those little aches and pains and they're like, wow, this topical really worked. This lotion cream with infused CBD, THC. I personally like ones with THCA in them and CBD. They really work for all kinds of, we were talking about it this morning in another cannabis meeting I'm in, burns, rashes. My mom had shingles, which is an unimaginable pain.
Yeah.
And she treated it with topicals and like really got through it at a much more comfortable way and healed faster, especially for somebody who's like 70. You know what I mean? Like, geez, it's hard. Yeah. All of those things can super be helped with cannabis topicals, and it makes a huge impression, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Because
it changes your mind a little.
Yeah. I mean, my mind didn't need to be changed, but I'd never tried them for whatever reason,
but now you're like, who knew what this plant could do for me? Now I'm like gonna use it for so much more. Well, and then you're gonna come to my class and be like, now I want to make it.
Still trying to get some. I'm just gonna be like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna be in San Jose on Sunday for a little kids'
come to my house.
So I'm coming over after.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
plans on a podcast.
Yeah, forget this podcast, you guys. I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm always like, come to San Jose. I would love. I could not imagine a better like dream for me. It was honestly all those years of trying to get my family and friends to like embrace cannabis, maybe not to the extent that I have, but to an extent that it would really help them with the things that I felt were holding them back in life: pain, mood, bad sex, what have you. God, I couldn't imagine a better job for me. I can't believe this job exists. And for people to come to me instead of me, like when you're the one asking for the yes from people who are in your family and circles, it's so different from like where I am now in my business, where people literally just like sign up for my class and show up and they're like so grateful.
That's so cool. That is so cool. And here's like a really great example of like being just aligned with your purpose. And that's something where it's like, I want everyone to like, if you are not happy doing what the fuck you're doing right now, try to find what's going to make you happy, because nothing in this world can compare to living life doing what you love doing and helping other people. Because ultimately, we are helping people with something that we do. Each one of us has our own gift, our own talent. And the big thing is to help someone else. And so if you're not happy doing what you're doing, then you need to find it.
Truth, facts, 100%. You know me, 100%.
And I wish I knew how to tell people, like, this is how you find it. But I think the biggest part is, like, I don't know, what would I actually have advice on this. What is your advice on how do you find that? How do you find what makes you happy? Like, what led you to that? I mean, obviously the story of the weed loop, but like.
Well, all of these stories could have come to nothing. You know, it didn't have to end with me here helping other people with my classes and coaching. No, it could have just been like, I'm a happy camper, or nothing could have come of it. You know, I think that what you're talking about now is the difference between somebody who's maybe like tuning in and like observing themselves and their life and actually trying to pose these questions to themselves. What does make me happy? I'm important. I'm interesting. I'm worth thinking about. We spend so much time, especially as busy wives and moms, feel me, thinking about what other people need, thinking about what makes other people happy, you know, putting them above us, you know, in the hierarchy of what's important. But, you know, ourselves are important, but we have to be the ones to care about the answers to these questions for us. You know, if I didn't care about it and pursue my own happiness in this, then nothing would have come through. You know what I mean? None of this would have happened.
Yeah.
I had to actually care about making myself happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you say? What was your answer to the question of how to find the answers to these questions for yourself?
So I was thinking about it. You're right. It's that self-reflection part, because at some point it's like, and that's kind of like, I little by little, I've been like trying to figure out what makes me happy, and it might change.
Oh yeah.
It might change. I right now I love story and copywriting, and I don't see it changing because it took me a lot of changes to get to this point. So it's like, just if you're not happy, trying to keep searching for it. And it's like, okay, yeah, this makes me happy. This doesn't make me happy. And that self-reflection part. And then I think for me, this year has been a complete game changer for me, because I really just, I've started understanding why I've done the things that I've done, or like even the unwanted behaviors that I've allowed on either on me or from me to other people, like stuff like that. And so it just comes a point where it's like, you want things to be better. You want things to be happier. You want things to be smoother. And until you try things out, you're not going to know what it is. That's kind of how I feel. Or
I agree with you.
Or you land on something and it just freaking sets you on fire, and you're just like, this is it.
Yes. You know, one of the things I tell my students that I love about teaching these courses is that, you know, I create this community so that you can find your power. You know, you can unlock this magic inside of you. You can become the healer. You know, we want to heal ourselves mainly. You know, most of my students have problems that they want to heal themselves. And they also want to heal everybody around them that they love. So what you're saying, it's people, like, I think we have a culture of fear that we think everybody's out to get us, but that's mostly not true. You know what I mean? We are mostly living in a world where the greatest desire of almost everybody in their deepest hearts is usually to be of service and purpose, you know, to other people, your loved ones, the world around you. And in shamanism, and even in a lot of religions, there is a belief that your thoughts, your actions, your vibe, as it were, your light, your energy, can, you know, be released from you and affect the world around you. This is not too woo, you know, this is actually something most people believe in almost every respect. But when you take it like further and you kind of like really profoundly believe that your energy can affect the world around you and take responsibility for it, and actually then after you've taken responsibility for it, think to yourself, what is the best and highest purpose I can do with me? Yeah. You know, when I say about the chakras and the root chakra being red and me wanting that to be like vibrant for you, vibrant for me, full of life and energy and vitality, you know, this idea that it would light up, you know what I mean? This idea that you would light up through your whole system. And I like my students, when they make their own canna pantries in the first part of the class, it's very empowering for them. They realize they're ready to DIY, you know what I mean? And I get so proud of them. And I say, you know what? Since I have students all over the country and the world, actually, I see them as lights on a map, their homes, their hearts shining, you know, a beacon of like healing and health and vitality that shines out from them, from their kitchen, from their heart, and maybe even from their, you know, their root chakra, right? We all admire those people whose root chakras are shining. We find them attractive, confident, vital. We want to be around them. Yeah. You need to be one of those people. I need to be one of those people. We all need to be that, because I think you and I agree that the world is changing, hopefully for the better, and all of that would help it push it that way because of the vibes that we put out, the energy that we release, that comes in from us. And this is super spiritual, but again, it's just a simple truth.
Yeah.
That it's what changes things.
Yeah. I love everything you just said. Like, I don't think I could have said it any better. And like, it's so perfect, and it ties in. Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
No.
So like, this show has evolved for me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You've been sharing a lot, girl.
I feel like this is exactly where I needed to be and start showing up, because this is what I've been working on this year, is like healing and like having a better vibration and being of service to people, and like just making this world better with whatever I can give to it, right? And so let me close the door really fast because my kid is gonna walk in here.
Mom life, hashtag mom life.
And if you're watching this, you saw him in my pajama pants. So pajamas on the bottom. Hey.
Party on the top.
But I just appreciate everything you said, because it just ties everything together. And this is what I want. I want people to like feel good. I want people to look for what feels good and like to share their love and their everything with the world. I just want this world to be better. And I think that sharing these kinds of stories and like this stuff is like the best thing we could do, almost, you know, on top of the other things we're doing. But I appreciate you. And I think I'm just so happy that you're in my life. Like, I can't even imagine not having had met you. Like, working with you has taught me so much. Like, and I just keep learning, you know, it's, yeah. I love you. You're awesome. And you're so cool. And I can't wait to see you on Sunday. I'm going to come for reals.
Okay, great. I'm ready for it. Yeah. I'm not even joking around. Like, anytime, girl. Yes.
We're going to record, and we're going to have on YouTube, and we're going to do all the things, and we're going to post all over the place. I love it. So Michelle, I think this was a really good way to end it. I know we're going kind of like, I don't want to go too long with our episode.
No, we can't give it all away because we have to save it for later.
we gotta do another episode soon. But can you tell people where to find you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, my business name is Cannabis Coaching, which is, I'm not sure if that's the greatest domain name in the world, but you can find me there. That's my website. I love to be on YouTube. YouTube is kind of like my favorite. You know, and I know that, and you can just look me up there, Michelle Crawford, Cannabis. I'm pretty much the one. There's not a whole ton of Michelle Crawfords talking about cannabis on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that good at Instagram. So if you find me on Instagram, I apologize in advance. I'm terrible at Instagram, but I'm there too. Michelle Crawford.Cannacurious. And my homemade health class is my signature thing. It has evolved with Priscilla's help into something that is really changing lives for people. And I realized in the giving of it for a year and having students stick with me for a year, and in the practice of medicine making, like it's something where we have a slogan, make, take, share, hashtag make, take, share. Mm-hmm. And it's like our whole motto. You make things, you take them, and you share them. And if I can get you confident in your healing, you know, powers to do that, then I've done my job. And usually I've made your dream come true too, or you've made your dream come true by becoming what you wanted to be. Mm-hmm. So my class, Homemade Health, I offer it live for 10-week sessions, and it'll be next year. So come to my website, cannacuriouscoaching.com, and check it out, or watch me on YouTube. You can have more of this.
Definitely. Michelle is fun to watch. So definitely go check out her YouTube, because that's where she has a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and silly things too.
Yeah. She had fun on Halloween, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you can meet my alter ego, Esmeralda, if you want.
You guys should definitely check out her channel. And if you guys are curious more about, you know, the DIY stuff, or even like how can you incorporate cannabis into your improving your health, definitely reach out to Michelle. She can give you all the pointers and all the tips, and she's like just awesome to work with. All right, Michelle. Well, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. I'm so happy we finally did it. Yay.
Me too. I'm glad you're doing this. I love watching, you know, as much as you like working with me, I love working with you, and I love watching you grow, and you know it. I've said it a million times. Thank you for having me on. This is fun.
Then what the fuck are you doing?
All right, I guess I'll see you on Sunday. So.
I'll see you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
For more tips and motivation, check me out on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok at AmbitiousAF.